So join me on my journey to find the ultimate travel and vlogging tripod. And this has been a few years in the making and really with mostly disastrous consequences, but I think I have finally worked it out and I found the right travel mini vlogging tripod for me. But before I tell you where I ended up, let me tell you where I began and where I've been. And really the first one I want to talk about is the Joby Gorillapod. Now, this is one of the most popular vlogging and travel tripods on YouTube. Really popularized by Casey Neistat. All those years ago when he was using this tripod, he was also known for his cameras constantly falling over because the legs give out or don't hold or crack, become loose, what have you.
Namely, this thing here. This flexible tripod thing, it's sort of my mainstay, it's my go-to. It's not great.
But even with that, so many people, myself included, followed in his footsteps and grabbed one of these tripods and effectively got the same result that he did. Now, the fatal flaw with this tripod really is in the joints. The things that make it so amazing are the things that make it work terribly poorly after even a few weeks of usage. And for me, I don't think I had one of these that worked like new for more than a few months. Now, the ball head that you can get with it, which I'm actually using on my stand for the overhead shot right now, is excellent, and it is probably the best thing about the tripod. And at least if you bought a few of these over the years, if you got the ball heads with them, you can take those and repurpose those onto other tripods and rigs and what have you. But the tripod itself is made up of these little pods that just all pop into each other. They're just little plastic capsules. And the idea is that they're manufactured in a way that there's enough tension around the capsule that is the female holding the male component of each little pop-in piece, that there's enough tolerance or enough tightness in the manufacturing process to keep resistance there so that the tripod will effectively stand up on its own. But anybody who's owned one of these quickly finds out that these capsules, one, wear out, and two, they just flat out break and come apart. And now I've pulled that apart, and if I run my finger inside, I can guarantee, yeah, there's a crack. So this is what happens. They just crack, and if I pull on this, all right, you can bet that's where that one's cracked. Pull on this one. Okay, that one's cracked. Very similar places. Let's see, how about this one? Yep, that one's cracked. I can see the crack. And yeah, that's cracked. And that's cracked. I wonder if there's any more cracks in. Oh, there's another one where it's cracked. That's pretty tight. How about this? Oh, no, yep, cracked there. Let's see, no. Any more? No. Okay, so this is how many cracks we've got. We've got, what? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 6 cracked joints on this, and pretty much if you own a Joby Gorillapod, you probably have 1 or 2 already, and eventually they all end up like this. It doesn't matter how you take care of them, it's just the process. So this was a very popular tripod that was really garbage from the start. The design was seriously flawed. Now, after having a few of these garbage tripods, I actually went on eBay and I bought some knockoff fake versions of them that look just like this. And to be honest, they were much cheaper. When they came, they were as bad as a Joby Gorillapod 3, 6, 12 months in the day you got them. They didn't stand up or hold anything from day one. So those tripods started off garbage. They were never any good. I then moved on to another eBay special, which was one of these, I don't know how to describe it, but it almost had like a welding metal or soldering. It was a flexible metal inside a foam tube. And those actually worked reasonably well for a short time, but just like you would presume, the more you bent them, the more the metal inside fatigued. And it was pretty clear to me it was only a matter of time until the legs were gone. And in fact, I had one that I used for a number of years that one leg broke off, but I could still use it to put around trees and stuff, and I would tie it around, and then eventually the other leg broke off and there was only one leg left and it was completely useless. But for the price, those were actually halfway decent, and if you just consider them a disposable purchase, I don't think they're actually that bad for what they are. Now, the next thing that I was considering, and the most recent thing I was considering, is the Manfrotto Pixie. Now, this is a tripod that I've got a few friends that have, but, you know, I thought, oh, you know, I'm the vlogging guy, so, you know, I gotta have my fancy Joby high-end Gorillapod. I mean, this is what sort of makes me a YouTuber, right? But every time I held their little Manfrotto Pixie tripod, I just felt, God, they're so much more solid. It's small, it's inexpensive, but I just thought it was sort of an amateur's tripod, or you know, a cheapo second class Manfrotto just made a Chinese junk tripod, and that's what it is. But eventually I decided that was the right thing. I was gonna give that a go. They just felt solid, regardless of what I thought about them based on the price or the way they looked or their size. They always felt really good in the hands. So I went on Amazon, putting my wonderful Joby pod, and I ordered a Manfrotto Pixie. And I thought, all right, this is going to be the tripod, and I was convinced now that even though it was an inexpensive tripod, I'd handled enough friends' versions of this that this was going to be the right tripod. So I ordered it on Amazon, and always, as Amazon does, after I ordered it and it was already on the way, they served me up, you might also like this. And in the end, they were right. I did like this, and essentially what it was in an improved version for people who do vlogging and self-shooting, an improved version of the Manfrotto Pixie. And that is the Joby Handypod. Now, the concept is the same. I would say the design is probably 90% the same. But what they have done, and you can see it just sits up just like the Pixie would, but what they have done is they have made it so when the legs fold together, you get this really cool hand grip. So your fingers go here, and as you turn it over, your thumb goes here. This is a little spot for a USB remote that they can put in, so you can start and stop a phone or any other camera device that you've got that can be controlled by a little USB pad. So they've got that put in there. And then when you reach up here, just like the Pixie, this releases the ball head, so you can turn this very easily. And when doing this, it does feel a little bit stiff when there's no camera on it, but when you get the weight of the camera on, it just turns super, super easily, and it works really well. Now, it is quite a simple tripod in the fact that it doesn't have a quick release, and it doesn't have anything that turns here. And I thought, all right, I'm gonna wanna put some sort of quick release or some sort of plate on this. But after using it for a little while, I find it's just perfect like this. And I'll just show you how you put it on the camera. And I'm not sure why I didn't think that this was gonna be acceptable, but all you do is you just put it on the bottom of the camera, spin it a few times. Now it's tight, turn it, and now you're set up for vlogging. Like, that's it. And then when you want to just set it up for a shoot or a time lapse or what have you, it's just like that. And it really handles, like, this is a tiny little mirrorless camera, but it does handle pretty big cameras. And actually in the photos, it shows this handling a Sony A7 with quite a big lens on it. In fact, right now I will go ahead and grab my Fuji X-T3, and I'll put the biggest lens I've got on it, and we'll just see how well it holds up. Now, this is my Fuji X-T3, and this is a really chunk of a camera. And in fact, I would say this is the biggest APS-C mirrorless camera you can buy as far as weight. This and the X-T4. And I'm just gonna thread this on, and we'll turn it into sort of a vlogging thing where you wouldn't be vlogging with the big lens like this, but yeah, there's no issues there. Now let's just set it up as a tripod and see how that works. Yeah, I mean, this is a huge camera. Yeah, and that's absolutely fine. And if you just compare that to the size of the little Canon, So yeah, it's perfect for these little Canon EOS M and M series mirrorless cameras, and it certainly will work up to a one of the bigger cameras. As I said, the A7, Sony A7 is what is actually in some of the demo material or the stuff online showing what it can handle. But yeah, that's got no problems at all. Let's see if we tilt it a long way. Yeah, what if we even tilt it way down like that? Yeah, that's yeah, no issues. It's surprising how strong that little. Yeah, it is surprising how strong it is, and so easy to take on and off. I mean, I think that's potentially even easier than a quick release. So yeah, so that's it. That has become my new vlogging and mini travel tripod. It's super inexpensive. I will put a link in the description down below. They come in a couple of different colors. I picked this greeny blue one because I just like to be odd, and it's kind of an odd color. So that's it from me. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay creative.